grabbed my hand and said, may I bless this? And so the great June Hunt is in the studio right now. She's the founder, Hope for the Heart, and so many different things. June Hunt, thank you so much for coming.
Love being with you, Jeff. Thank you.
40 years in broadcasting. Did it go by in an instant?
No. Different stages, different additions, and different positive challenges. I just look back and think I never planned any of this. It was not a desire on my part.
Well, something you shared with me before the show is that you were not always outgoing. You were something of a shy child. When did you decide to create this ministry?
I think, and I don't know if it was shy, it's just, I didn't feel I could talk. Meaning, I had an atheist father. He had 3 families going on at the same time. We were the 3rd family, meaning with a fictitious last name. So I grew up as June Wright, Wright, even though what was going on was wrong. I didn't know how to verbalize anything about my home life. And when I was 12, we moved into my father's home. And 11 months later, my parents married. And someone in there later, then my last name changed. Well, I had a teacher who came up and said, June, what do we call you? Your brother is going by the last name of Hunt, and you're June Wright. I said, see, I don't know what to say. So I went, well, okay, if he's going by that, then I guess I'll be June Wright. I'll be June Hunt. And so, but I didn't talk. I couldn't explain. That was none of my friends or the schoolmates. They didn't have what I had. And somehow I didn't know what to say. So later, my life definitely changed. What I mean is somehow we end up, because of my father, oddly enough, we end up going to a biblically based church. Now, I grew up in a church, but it wasn't biblical. I didn't have a Bible, didn't know anything about the Bible, a mainline denomination. And Jeff, it's unusual when your father says, you're going to go to this church. And he had not been in church for 40 years, except for weddings and funerals. And he was 28 years older than my mom, so it was just painful. Yes. I thank God I never have to go back to those early days. But here now I'm at this church, and then they said, oh, bring a Bible to come to Sunday school. And I thought, well, I don't have a Bible, but I knew where one was on a shelf, so I pulled out that Bible and brought it. And so I'm in a high school class of sophomores, and then the teacher says, now everyone turn to Isaiah 6. I can't turn to anything. And I used to think, how do they do this? All these students, they go, and they're there. All of a sudden they're there. How do they do that? And there are no tabs. And I thought, so, but I didn't say anything. And the students helped me. They would turn in my Bible, really not my Bible, anyway, the one I was carrying, and then they would say, June, Christianity is not a religion, it's a relationship with Jesus Christ.